Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. The best way is if you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know? I want to tell you guys something. What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out about crypto. My name is Ben. We're tons of balls. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the people's channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. My name is Ben. I come to you live every single day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Monday, October 3rd. Now, there is something that happens almost every October. Well, actually, every October for a considerable amount of time. That's my birthday. It's my birthday month, guys. You guys like that? I'm a Scorpio. What's your sign? So anyways, yeah, going to be exciting. I turned 40 this year. So finally, I can now say this month I turned 40. It's the saddest moment of my life. What's the number you don't want to turn?
I haven't really thought about it yet.
Yeah, 40 in my early 30s, I thought that too.
Yeah,
you know,
40 doesn't seem that bad these days.
40 doesn't seem bad, but I'm telling you, there are people that just drop dead in their 40s. You know, the 30s is much more rare.
Yeah,
have heart problems. Whatever, 48, 49 might have problems. 40s, you can die in your 40s. You know, from something that isn't necessarily like just a gigantic tragedy, like a car accident or something. So, Braves, let's get it. Yeah, absolutely. ATL, we held it down. We got the sweep, so we're in first place right now, magic number of 1. Also, the Falcons game yesterday, we went to the Falcons game. We won that as well. Super exciting to see our football team win a game at home. It's been a long time. So, all right, guys, you know what? Usually I like to come on Monday, and I like to talk about what happened on the weekend and talk about, you know, where the crypto markets are going to be. And we're certainly going to do that. But guys, the price just isn't really moving that much one way or another. How many times can someone come on to and look, there's certainly people out there that do this. You know, Carl from the Moon, Chris from MM Crypto. All they do is talk about charts pretty much and Bitcoin. So it's like every day they have to tell you in their thumbnail, it's moving dramatically, and they got to look for any move they can find. You know, I'm not a trading channel. Frank is. And for me, it just gets so boring. I stopped paying attention on most of the price. Like those guys pay attention every single day. I think of how hard it must be to every single day come on and come up with that kind of title and thumbnail when the price action has just been so, It felt like for several weeks now, we have been on the verge of a big move. Probably down. It just hasn't moved. October, the joke I was kind of making at the beginning of the show, was October is known to be a pretty bullish month for Bitcoin, especially if there was a red September. It's tended to lead towards a green October. And look, guys, what did we close at? We're going to do our Pluto Alliance pick here in just a second, by the way. What did it close at? Let me go to TradingView. TradingView, Bitcoin. Right now it's at 19.4. Let's go to the weekly and see what it closed at. The weekly, it closed at 19,231. So think about this, guys. If Bitcoin were to sit at $19,400 on the 31st of October, that would be a green month. It doesn't mean we're going to get giant gains. You don't get giant gains in a bear market outside of maybe one or two big pops, you know, that you'll get probably next year. We'll have some fireworks. It'll come back down. People will be bored again or whatever. So, TJ, like for you, looking at the weekend action, like weekends used to be extremely volatile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this saying to you that just people aren't interested in trading crypto right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the attention generally, and we know this, we can see it in the numbers here, the attention generally has shifted. If you're not a major financial, you know, investment person, if you're day trading, you're into it, obviously, but your retail is pretty much completely gone, which, you know, we see happen a lot of times. And, you know, yeah, I think that everybody's waiting for something major to happen. I think the Credit Suisse stuff, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit, has everybody on edge. Everybody's watching, obviously, the British pound. We've got macro, you know, Ukraine potentially trying to join NATO. You got all this macroeconomic stuff going on.
And we'll get into some of the bank stuff later.
Yeah, I think everybody's waiting for that that next shoe to drop, so to speak, and then they're going to take action. And so, but really, it to me, the fact that Bitcoin's holding well, I wouldn't go as far as saying it's uncorrelated yet,
Yeah.
but it's showing
It's feeling like
signs.
it's going to do the thing it does
Yes.
against the rest of the market.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? They're going to come and they're going to tell you when it goes back down, it's a scam again. That's what they always say.
And also, real quick, shout out to our people from Twitch. We've got some people from the Twitch staff in the basement there hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of big stuff coming on the Twitch channel, guys, for later this week and just the rest of this month. Really trying to help push crypto on Twitch, get that Twitch community going. So shout out. We call you guys the basement, but shout out to everybody in the basement. We got some big stuff in the works. So
is my beard uneven? That's the comment in the chat.
Looks a little bit thicker on the left than the right for sure. Could be the camera.
Here. No,
Yeah.
This one's thicker?
Well, yeah, that one's thicker. Yeah.
I don't think so. It might be the shadows or something. Guys, I think my beard is straight.
Yeah, we'll call it the light.
Yeah, it's much better than when I got back from Alaska. That was, man, I looked like a mountain man. Let's see. That Gary Gensler guy reminds me of Seb Blatter in the corrupted FIFA. Well, that's a connection I haven't made before. Yeah. So, all right, let's go to the actual, we're going to do the Pluto Alliance draw first. Guys, every month we give away our YouTube revenue to our Pluto Alliance holders. We pick one of the alien nations, as we call them, or the planets, to give our revenue to. You got to stake it with Pluto Alliance. This is, I think, the 9th or the 10th one. So we're going to go ahead and, right now, you pull up screen. We're going to roll the dice. This determines how many times we're going to randomize the list. 7. So what we're going to do is come here. We've got, everyone's entered this month, right? All planets are entered this month. This is the month that we have all planets entered. So twice a year, we've done all planets. There's 10. You get to win once over the year. And then 1 or 2 are going to win multiple times. And this is the one to do that. So let's go ahead and do it 7 times. Randomize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Congratulations, Neptune. There you go. Hey, Neptune's a pretty rare planet, so they're going to get some cheddar there. I think some cheddar. Guys, Pluto Alliance is our NFT project. We've obviously worked on for a long time. I wanted to also let you guys know about the cruise. It is the cruise portal is open for everyone that owns an alien. That's right, that owns an alien. The link is in the
it's in the Discord.
It's in the Discord. The link is in the Pluto Alliance Discord. If you're interested in joining that, you can look up Pluto Alliance on Twitter and get there. Let's see. I did want to let's see. I wanted to see if I could give people the URL. I think it's just PlutoAlliance.com, isn't it? Let's see. You guys want to learn more about Pluto Alliance? You guys can go to, let's see, here it is, V1 website, Twitter. Here's the Discord. You can get all this on the Twitter, all the different links that they have available. And we do have that cruise portal up.
Yeah, so it should be on. There's a tab open on your screen already, or there was.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Perfect. So we are doing a cruise in April of next year. It is the event. Well, the portal's through event registration. Do we have the link for this?
He said you can't. We doesn't want us to. The link is in the Discord because you have to hold a V1 or a V2. It's not open to everybody right now.
I like giving people links.
It's only open to V1 and V2 holders. So if you are a V1 holder or a V2 holder, hop in the Discord. The link to register is in there, and we'll get you signed up. But that is the portal right there. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So there you go. You guys can. There's more stuff up here. If you want to know what's involved in the cruise, there's frequently asked questions. Just so you guys know, like a cruise. It's when you get on a large boat, go over water, and you'll usually go to a place, and then you'll go back. You might get to swim with a dolphin if you're lucky enough. So I'm going to be on the cruise. A lot of our team's going to be there. We're real excited about it. It's just a fun thing, right? This is just a fun thing for Pluto Alliance holders, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so moving on to the actual markets. With 21,190 cryptos, 527 exchanges, a tick up of 1 since last week. 938 billion market cap. Look at that volume. That volume is very low.
Yeah.
This is actually the lowest I think we've seen in a long time. And the market cap didn't really move. Once again, backing up the boring weekend action. Bitcoin dominance still can't get over 40%. It's at 39.7. ETH dominance dropped 1 since last week, 17.3. And for 13 Paraguays, you can send an ETH transaction. Looking at the markets right now, Bitcoin coming in at $19,384. Ethereum has just seemed to stay in the 1,300s every time I've seen it for 7 years, it seems like. We've got BNB, XRP. XRP now down for the week. It is down to 45 cents. We got Binance Coin or Binance USD. Cardano at 42 cents, up a hair, basically sideways for a week. Solana up a little bit. This could be due to the fact that, FTX, big supporter of Solana, and FTX is now putting ads on our videos. I don't know if you guys have seen those. So we were talking about in the chat this morning. Weird, isn't it? It's almost like if I tell you they're a terrible company and I hate them, they're like, okay, let's work with Google and YouTube and let's make sure that people think you like us by putting ads in the middle of your videos that have our name on it. You can control. Thanks, FTX. That's a dirty little play. The Google AdWords competition ethics are very fascinating. Like if you let's say you run an event planning business and the number one event planning business in your or in your area, you just use their name as a keyword and you pop up on top of them. Some people think it's dirty, but it is what it is. Maybe FTX is trying to do that right now. Let's look at the top gainers of the day. Quant. Hey. Oh, man, we don't have any. Do we have Quant in one of our portfolios?
I think we did H-bar and Algo. I don't know if we did Quant.
Well, in the ISO 20022.
Oh, yeah. Well, no.
Sorry. The ISO 222 portfolio. Makes me think about taking some profits on that. But I guess with the ISO, it doesn't really make sense since we're just going to pour it back into the same collection of coins, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maker, Elron, Ethereum name service. How much do you know about this? It's a coin.
Not much as a coin. And really not even that much as, I know what obviously Ethereum name service is, and I'm just not a big fan on those. Like, it makes sense. To me, I look at it very similar to domain squatting. I know a lot of guys here buy different handles and names, and they've done it for Cardano as well. And you can make some money flipping those, but it's not something that gets me real excited generally.
Yeah. All right. It was a little blah.
Yeah. Seem a little down today.
It was a busy. I'm just tired. It was a busy weekend. Had a lot going on.
Braves game last night. Falcons game yesterday.
I went to the Braves game Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday Falcons game. Volunteer. I got a volunteer thing I do at church on the first Sunday of every month, so I did that. Then to the Falcons game, then to the Braves game. We did batting practice passes. We got them from Luke Jackson. Actually, a Brave actually gave us instead of a Met this time. Well, Brandon Nimmo too. But I played poker with Luke Jackson a couple weeks ago. It was really exciting. But it was just a long day, guys. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little wore out today.
Yeah. Hey, it's Monday in crypto. Well, and we got all the major banks in the world apparently about to collapse. So there's just that floating around in the back of your head over the weekend too.
Oh, Alex Mashinsky taking 10 million from Celsius before it died.
Yeah, I heard about that. Well, and yeah, I guess that's true. And he used to always say, oh, you can trust it because I have $10 million of my own money on the platform.
Oh, I did say that.
That was his line he used to say all the time. And if it's true that he really withdrew that 10 million days before they cut off user withdrawals, that's just going to be sad.
Absolutely. All right. Well, here we go. We've looked at the top gainers. Let's just check the top gainers of the week real quick. Reserve rights. We talked about that last week. And then Quant, Maker, Uniswap, Toncoin, Elron. There you go. A lot of stuff up over 5% this week, but most of it's just kind of sideways. So, guys, 5% move in crypto over a week, one way or the other, it's sideways basically. Now, if it goes down 5% every week for 9 months, then yeah, it's bad. But Frank, you want to come do charts? Yeah, Frank, I'm relying on you to restore the energy to the show. All right, that's how you do it right there. Let's see, young Padawan.
What is going on, everybody? I'm bringing the energy today. And before I start, guys, shout out to the coffee stain that I just got on my shirt sitting backstage. Yeah, so shout out to that. If you guys like my the coffee stains on Frankie Candle's sweatshirt, then go ahead and smash that like button. But we have some interesting stuff to look at on the charts today, guys. I know we have that emergency Fed meeting, which should be pretty interesting, so be careful out there. As you know, stuff like this can create some pretty crazy price action. But yeah, we got a lot to look at. I want to go ahead and touch on some of the bullish things that we were talking about last time I was on the stream, looking at those higher time frames, looking like they were about to confirm some bullish divergences. So I want to touch on that, and then I'm going to give you guys some levels. We're going to take a look at the SPY and the DXY. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Let me do a refresh here. Boom, there we go. Why are the candles keep going back to blue and pink? That's so strange.
Yeah, I think it's because, you know, they know you just kind of like weaker colors.
Yeah, actually interesting. I actually just made a video. This was by popular demand. People wanted to know how I changed the colors of my candles on my charts on my channel. And I did record a video. I don't know why these keep going back to blue and purple, but stay tuned for that for those of you who are interested.
Greg's trying to take over my channel. I know it.
Slowly. I'm going to start putting some signs in the background. But no, taking a look here, guys, ignore the candle colors here. But I do want to touch on some of these higher time frames because things on, as you guys know, we were looking at the higher daily timeframes, looking at some bullish divergences starting to form, and we are starting to get some of them to confirm. So if you look here on the 4-day, we do have a bullish divergence here printing. And we do have about 8 hours for that one to confirm. If we come over to the 3-day, we do have a confirmed bullish divergence as well. Now, this was these were some of the bullish signals that we were looking at. Actually, I think this 5-day bullish div was printing just moments ago, but it actually did just disappear. Now, however, if we do see this one start to print and confirm, these are all starting to look like they're setting up in pretty bullish patterns, right? Not patterns, but bullish formations here with the momentum coming to the upside, the money flow starting to move to the upside. And this could potentially give us a big move to the upside. Now, obviously, again, with that emergency Fed meeting, you want to be careful. Who knows what's going to happen, but maybe they turn the money printer back on. Who knows? So we're going to have to wait for that news. However, if that news does wind up being somewhat good, or at least just not horrible, we could see these longer time frames really start to show face with these bullish divergences starting to pop up and starting to confirm on a lot of them here. So just moving on down the time frames here, I do want to take a look at the daily really quick. As you can see, we do have a confirmed red dot, but if I zoom in here on Market Cipher B, you can see that VWAP starting to turn right back around. So again, if we start to see some bullish action, we could easily see this VWAP flip back around, and this red dot may not play out too bad. Again, with days like today, price action is going to be heavily dependent, most likely on, whatever happens in this Fed meeting. But, not a horrible sign to see that VWAP kind of just trying to skirt right back around and cross up above that zero line could indicate that we are about to get a move to the upside. Now, another thing you want to realize, guys, is we are at that critical level of support, right? We do have our value area low down here, which is one of the very, very important levels I'm watching at 18,825. So we are just sitting at really important lows. So all we would need is a little bit of decent news or just not horrible news to come out of this meeting. And we could see things start to move. Also, just to bring up here, we are printing a green dot here on the 8-hour. And just looking at some of these lower time frames, we did get the 4-hour over the weekend to come back into the red. I think this actually might have happened on yeah, this was over the weekend. We came back into the red, which is more bearish, but you could see we are just swooping right back up there with the money flow. So that doesn't look too bad. And as we just move our way down here, money flow coming up on the 3-hour, your 2-hour, money flow generally coming up. So again, this, with that news that comes out or whatever happens in this Fed meeting, if it, again, is not just horrible news, we could see things are set up to potentially move to the upside here. And then real quick, before I give you levels on Bitcoin, I do just want to check on the SPY because we have some interesting things happening over here as we are coming down to key support and we are getting some support here, right? We're starting to get a little bit of a bounce. And coming up to the higher time frames here, now, money flow crossing over into the red on the weekly is actually a pretty bad sign. However, we are also setting up on the SPY to potentially put some bullish divergences in here with your lower lows on your price, as you can see right here, as we come down to touch this key level of support. And you can see your momentum making higher lows. And all we would need to do here is print this green dot and confirm it. And we would have a confirmed bullish divergence on the weekly for the SPY, which could potentially bring us up quite a bit. So we do have some things. We're in a little bit of a weird spot right now because we are starting to see things set up again, maybe this Fed meeting is the trigger we need to get this move to the upside if it's not horrible news. And if that is the case, things are starting to set up on these longer time frames to potentially give us a move to the upside. Now, I say this all the time. I'm not calling for new all-time highs or a new bull run to start, but just some, some short-term relief or, even medium-term relief as we've kind of been sitting on Bitcoin at these important lows for what feels like forever. Back to what Ben was saying, I envy the fact that he does not have to make titles every single day regarding just price action, because it does get very challenging. Sometimes I just feel like making my titles Bitcoin. Still going sideways. But yeah, the fact that we've just been down here for so long with those higher time frames starting to set up with those bullish divergences, not only on Bitcoin, but also looking like it wants to start forming up like that on the SPY as well, has got me feeling potentially decent again. Depending,
it just feels like it's been the exact same feeling for like a month now.
It really has.
That's chop on the market.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's a bear market. This is typically, you get scared out during the big capitulations, and anyone left over, they kind of just bore you out of the market with the sideways chop. So, yeah, definitely not the most exciting price action, and it does feel like we've been at this tipping point forever. And shout out to Dr. Rebus. Says beginner trading Q&A, should the goal be to get more Bitcoin or more USDC? I mean, typically I want to default to getting more more Bitcoin. I would say that's generally the goal. It depends on it depends on what your goals are, right? If you're looking to just day trade and grow your account over time, that's one thing. If you're looking to accumulate over a long period of time, I would say you always want to accumulate Bitcoin because that's the appreciating asset. As you know, the US dollar is basically an ice cube. It's just continually losing value and melting as they continue to print money.
I'm
print money.
What happened to the melt up?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on it.
Yeah. Not looking.
It was never going to happen.
It's not not looking good, bro. Yeah. But right now, guys, it does feel like we're at that tipping point. And in my opinion, especially with Bitcoin here, sitting at that key level of support, there's nobody that can tell you exactly what's going to happen in these markets. But what I can tell you is, if we lose these lows decisively, again, we talk about it all the time, that next likely range is going to be between 14 and 12K. But again, with those bullish divergences on the longer time frames, if this meeting is somewhat good, I do think we could potentially start seeing some, short-term relief for Bitcoin, which would at least be something different for a change. So that would be nice. But before I give you guys those levels on Bitcoin and get out of here, I do want to touch on the DXY just for a second as we are starting to see it cool off. Let me come down to a lower time frame. There's the blood diamond on the 1 hour time frame. As you guys know, we came up here, put in some nice bearish divergences here at the top of this channel, as expected, to get resistance and see this thing start to dump to the downside. Blood diamond on the 1 hour is pushing us down towards this level, and that main level I am watching to potentially find some support for the DXY would be at about 110.77, and that's going to be that white line right there. But again, continuing to see the DXY dump would be somewhat of a decent sign for Bitcoin and the SPY. And again, you want to remember how they're looking on the higher time frames with those bullish setups. Now, before I hop out of here, I do want to show you guys some key levels that I am watching. And guys, they remain the same. Again, as we continue to see Bitcoin just move to the side, your key support, this is kind of what I'm looking for to potentially find some longs. Now, depending on how this meeting goes, I don't know if we're going to get down here, but this gold box would be the level that I would be looking for to potentially, if you are not already in a long, this is where I would be looking for a potential move back down to the value area low at about 18,825. And then also you have the spider line right underneath. And this is typically, every time we break this, we break this value area low and come down to play with the this spider line, that's typically where we get those bounces, as you can see right here. That is exactly what happened right here. That's exactly what happened, so on and so forth. You can see how many times that's happened. So if I can see, if price could potentially get down here, which again, I don't know what's going to happen with this Fed meeting, but if we were to come down here, again, you could just see here on the 1 hour as well, your money flow is looking nice. So if we could get a short-term move down here, I'd be looking for bullish divergences on those lower time frames, looking for those bullish signals on Market Cipher for a potential long entry, and some levels to the upside. They essentially remain the same, guys. That point of control at 19,771 is going to be your first level of major resistance before potentially hopping on top of there and moving higher. And if we do flip this POC into support, it is going to be likely that we come up and visit this spider line coming in at about 21K. So those are the local levels I'm watching, guys. That's kind of what I'm expecting. If you're not in a long, definitely keep an eye on that gold box and look for your bullish confirmations to potentially get into a long trade. And be careful with that Fed meeting going on today because things can get crazy. Pray for my coffee stains on my sweatshirt. That's all I got. Back to Ben. Bing bong.
Yeah, real quick, had a question in the chat for you, Ben. Jason Landis, have some ADA and algo staking on Coinbase. Do you think with the current world events, it's time to get it into cold storage?
Well, I can never recommend you using a third-party staking service again. I just can't do it. After Celsius and Voyager and all that stuff, you know, was there staking on Voyager too?
I believe
sure
there
there was
was.
some
Yeah,
kind.
I believe there was. Yeah.
So look, Coinbase, the most trusted, most consistent exchange, one of the oldest exchanges that's still around. I think it started in 2014, maybe after Mt. Gox. Let me look that up real quick. I want to make sure I have the right information on that. Coinbase founding date. Oh no, 2012. Wow. So it was already running when Mt. Gox was in its prime. So I didn't think it was that old. But you really didn't know it was an option until after Mt. Gox and other places started pushing it. But the idea is, I trust Coinbase as much as you can trust a third party. You cannot blindly 100% trust them. So what I would say is, look, if you want to take some of your money and that's what you choose to do with it, is you understand the risk of staking on a third party to get a 3 or 2% return. But you're also risking losing 100% of your money on there if something happens and they get hacked, or most likely it would be insolvency. The market goes dead for 5 years, something like that. I don't think we're going to see it. But you gotta know how to use cold storage is very important, because the reason why a lot of people keep their money on exchanges is they just refuse to learn how to do it. They don't see importance or priority in it. And I think you definitely, as a person in crypto, you need to know how to do that. And you can actually, you put the Ledger link up.
Yeah,
Everybody
sure.
wants to get a Ledger S.
And even not third party, even if it is just a basic mobile wallet, there's a lot of ways you can stake and still have full custody yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be cold storage. Cold storage is always best, but you can just have a Daedalus wallet and stake your Cardano from there, or a Trust wallet that has a lot of different things you can stake with, and you still hold all the assets, which is the key.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me touch on these.
So a couple stories before we do Twitter buzz.
Yeah, real quick. Forget October. Crypto market remains a risk of further losses. Low social volumes and dropped in weighted sentiment. We saw the drop in the volume as well. Man, look at this guy.
He looks
it's almost
sad.
like he went back to the womb.
Oh.
A new month is often accompanied by positive social sentiment and fresh gains for assets. For Bitcoin, the larger crypto market, bearish blues are still playing despite entering October. Guys, I say it all the time. You can't count on a monthly trend to hold year over year. Year over year may not actually be the correct for year by month. It's just depending on where the cycle is for the most part. And so your September this year should be different than your September in 2024. So it doesn't have that much relevance between this September and last September. Last September, bull market. This September, bear market. That's what drives. Now, certainly there are some larger trends that right now in a market that's 13 years old seems to indicate there's some correlation, but we don't have enough data to really determine whether that's true or not. So look, in general, I think it is September is the worst month for every market. There's probably something to that. The end of quarter three, beginning of quarter four. Quarter four is when like government has to spend all their, I can't remember how my father-in-law was telling me he's an engineer he was an engineer at a Air Force base. And the way the government spends their budgeting, like they're on a different calendar. And maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it has something to do with people spending budgets for the end of the year, retail, who knows? There's some tiny correlation between some of the months. But you can't say, oh, here comes October. Got to know it's going to be good. And guys, we're in the thick of a freaking bear market. As we move towards wintertime, you'll be able to really know what the crypto winter truly feels like. Siles, Create Your Lane, says, you think cycle will stay same after the next bull run, will become part of a store of value or drop 85%? There's a chance Bitcoin only drops 80% this time. There's a chance it only drops 75% next time. I do think you have to understand why we have these bear markets. We have these bear markets because of extreme over exuberance in price. When you see people euphoric, people at your gym that you've never talked to are coming up to you and talking about crypto, you're listening to, waiters talk about their latest meme coin they bought to each other, that's signs of over exuberance. That's what causes the plunge. It's not actually the oh, well, we had a good run and the price went up for a year and a half. Now it's time to drop. It's because retail gets too excited about the prices. And that's something that's, pretty easy to see. And as long as that happens, as long as people are making gains, we will have bear markets. Certainly that 85% number may not hold, and it may be totally different. The average may be 60% and 12 years from now. So there you go. Maximum pain for Bitcoin holders. Bitcoin supply underwater at massive amounts. Crypto volumes holding up, but we just saw yesterday that kind of shook down over the last 24 hours. Here's the month chart. You guys can look and see. Look, February generally has some green months. I guess the highest percent, it looks like.
Looks like
Yeah, I
February
think
and
so.
October has one more red than February.
November has 4 reds. February has 3. Yeah, so it is the best month for Bitcoin. But what I tell you is there's just not a lot of correlation. I would never look at this chart. It's fun to look at. It's fun for informational and data purposes. But this chart probably needs to be another 20 or 30 years before we really might see if some of these trends happen. Mr. Techno Goody, does he want to be a mod? He's my favorite commenter.
Yeah, we
right
have a
now.
lot of mods, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, you can never have too many because
Sure.
they fall off in the bear market. He says, Feds tend to spend the money on the front end. Fed fiscal year calendar starts October 1st. They start spending right away. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not really sure what causes this in October, other than I know what it is. It's my birthday month. They love it. Football is raging right now. So it's just a fun time. People want to, make gains. More than 17 billion in Bitcoin liquidated so far this year. Obviously, we know it's been a terrible bear market. All right, let's get on to Twitter buzz.
Twitter buzz. Let's do it.
Twitter buzz.
Twitter buzz. Chris Berniski. I'll take a 30 to 50% downside, 10x upside, asset all day. Just because I think there's another chance, or there's a chance another shoe could drop, doesn't mean I'm sidelining cash. Remember, the greatest number of people who will be bearish and calling for lower lows at or near the bottom, DCA remains the way. I tell you, I don't know if I really agree with that. Going back to this idea that bears, now look, you're extreme bears like Crypto Savvy, he will definitely tell you it's going to keep going down. The vast majority of people that are bearish have targets within the 85% range. In 2018, when Bitcoin hit 3,200, there was people were trying to go to 3,000, but I didn't hear anybody really calling for much, much, much lower lows during that time. Do you?
Yeah, no, it does. I think that's a trap you can fall into where you're talking about the top of a market. Obviously, everybody's peak euphoric. Everybody's saying it's going higher.
Yeah.
That's when you generally need to think like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we're at the top. But I don't think it works as clean of an inverse going the other way where, the bears people just kind of go away. I think that's when, like what we were talking about at the top of the show, things get really quiet when we're near a bottom. It's not that there's a lot of noise.
People are scared to buy at the
Yeah.
bottom.
There's not a lot of noise calling for lower. It just, people just go away.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're experiencing some of right now.
Yeah, for sure. And look, there's this idea that when crypto YouTubers say the price is going up, that it's going to go down. And the opposite, that when we say it's going down, it's going to go up. I told you at 38K, it's a bear market. It's going to be much, much worse. Everybody want to counter trade that. People want to counter trade everything Jim Cramer talks about. People want to counter trade sentiment. It doesn't, there's correlation, but not enough for you to make decisions based off of that. So I certainly would not say, oh, CNBC is talking about Bitcoin, I better sell. That's not going to work out. There are times where it works out perfectly. And when it does, those become kind of like echo chamber events. You're like, remember when you said this and this happened? Well, the opposite, basically. Well, yeah, that doesn't happen for everything, though. It's still just a guessing game. We're all just trying to do the best that we can with the information we have. All right. Crypto Slice says, I absolutely love the show. Very informative. Love the news you guys put out. Keep it up, guys. Main reason I've held for 2 years and haven't sold. 10-year plan. Hey, that's one of the things I'm very proud of, that our community has stuck through this. Walter Bloomberg, OPEC canceled joint technical committee meeting scheduled for October 4th from 3 OPEC sources. We have that emergency Fed meeting today.
Yes. And then they canceled this. Yeah. It seems correlated for sure.
Yeah. If you guys watched my video yesterday in my wife's Jeep I was actually in, you would see what I think is going on right now. We could potentially see a gigantic reversal of world events based on something crazy the Fed might do. And it's based off of pressure from around the world. That's why OPEC most likely canceled this, to lean back and see what they're going to say from this emergency meeting, and then come back and reschedule the meeting. That's what I think is going to happen. Unusual whales. Goldman Sachs, a GS, a weaker company, will drive households to continue selling stocks. We expect households to sell $100 billion in equities in 2023. So, number one, whatever Goldman Sachs says, take with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean the exact opposite thing's going to happen, but it seems like here that with this, you pulled back up real quick. Sorry.
You're good.
It seems like here that they're trying to push this narrative that you shouldn't be selling stocks. You should be looking to sell equities next year. So I don't know how many of you guys have all that in your portfolios. I have some Peloton and Coinbase that's worth almost nothing, as you guys know. But the idea here is, we are seeing a very interesting thing happen macroeconomically with markets, bonds going through some fascinating stuff. The yields, we're looking around the world at currencies crumbling. And we're going to get more to that in the segment after this, I think.
Oh, we got Crypto Savvy in the chat.
There's Savvy's here.
I hope you're practicing your bow, Benji.
I usually rifle hunt, Savvy.
I want to get a compound bow.
If I have to do that.
Yeah, that's not going to be good.
It'd be great content. No, but seriously, if it goes below 8,000, then he deserves that credit. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. I always say that it could. Respect Crypto Savvy for remaining bearish all throughout the entirety of every 4-year cycle that he says doesn't exist. Over 34K Bitcoin left on exchanges on September 30th. Investors withdrew more than 34,500 Bitcoin from exchanges. That probably what triggered a big sell-off here. But once again, the news changes so fast with the market swings. You'll read a story, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is reviving. And then the next, by the time you read the story, the price has dropped 4%, Long-term investors hold larger positions in Bitcoin, are usually advised to keep their currencies off of exchanges in order to keep control of their funds. So that's at least a good sentiment there.
Well, and I think that probably leads to, that Lehman 2.0 story we're going to get to later. Everybody starts seeing, major banks might be going insolvent. Yeah, I think I want to pull all my crypto off crypto exchanges, because that's the world we're in right now, that banks may not even have your money, or they don't have your money. But if everybody goes to withdraw, you'll find out real fast.
Yeah. Crypto, this is shot. Like, I can't believe this headline. This is insane. Crypto's popularity among American millennials on the decline. Oh man, this is bad. This is terrible right here. This means that people aren't as interested in crypto as they were last year. Can we have a moment of silence?
Yeah. Where's Sarah McLachlan when you need
her? What's the words to that song?
I will remember you, or something like, or you will remember me, or
I will remember you. Yeah. Man, I'm a what they call a crooner. Back in the 50s, I think that's what they called it. Definitely.
A crooner?
Yeah. I mean, that would have been like the equivalent of Jason Derulo probably today would be a crooner back in the 50s.
Okay.
Guys, obviously, interest among every single demographic is going down in crypto.
Anybody who holds crypto, is even people that love crypto, even people that are obsessed with it, are super bullish. Like, yeah, I'm not really looking at my crypto portfolio right now. Not really, trying really hard not to think about crypto today.
Yeah. Well, I don't even have to try hard not to think about it. Like, we do the show, we're plugged in, we're talking about video ideas, but it really is, it feels fruitless because nothing seems to be, putting things in the right direction until, of course, I think we get a new bottom, and it's going to feel bad, but at least you'll feel something.
Yeah, right. At least we can all feel bad together. That's why we come hang out with you guys.
That's right. That's why we love the YouTube chat. We love the BitSquad. Love the basement folks over there. As analysis carried out by financial services company Bankrate determined that U.S. millennials are not as enthusiastic about cryptos as they were when Elon Musk was their idol and Dogecoin was their god. James Royal, principal reporter at Bankrate, reminded that 50% of U.S. millennials felt comfortable investing in digital assets last year, while this figure has shrunk to 30%. Now, here is what is so fascinating. Smart money, it should be the exact opposite.
Yep.
People should be much more willing to invest in a down draw than invest when everything's at all-time highs. The risk versus reward there is just drastically different. So let's see. Crypto Stevo, what do the mods have to do to get your attention today? Haha, we want Ben's shirt. You just want me to take it off now?
No.
Camera? No.
Save it for the cruise.
Save it for the cruise. You guys can check out the shirt at hitmerch.com.
Yeah.
Hitmerch.com. You can drop it in the chat.
Sure.
We got a lot of cool shirts. This one's for sale on there, right? We have more of these.
I believe so.
Yeah. If not, then I'll sign this one and we'll do a giveaway. Sign it with a black Sharpie. Lehman Brothers 2.0 situation may cause another catastrophe on crypto and financial markets. The black swan no one expected potentially appeared on the market after the crypto and financial community sparked a series of discussions about the worrisome state of one of the biggest investment banks in the world, Credit Suisse, which could be dangerously close to defaulting and causing a massive crash on the markets. Crypto Savvy, always pays me when he comes in here, and I like that about him. He says, check out Credit Suisse weekly VHART.
Chart. It's got to be a weekly chart.
It's got to be a typo, yeah. I was thinking, it's something I haven't heard of. Like,
yeah.
It's like
a new
VWAP, but
yeah.
VHART?
Yeah.
I don't know. Same bubble pop pattern. No denying that we're on a bubble pop pattern, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out the same way. All right.
He was talking about Credit Suisse specifically. Yeah.
About what?
Credit Suisse chart specifically.
Yeah, Credit Suisse, right. Thankfully, over the last few weeks, we have been seeing a gradual decoupling of BTC against indexes like the S&P 500, which could act in favor of blockchain-based assets in case of a major crash. So really, the interesting thing that's going on right now is from the OPEC story to Credit Suisse, potentially a douche bank. We could be seeing more collapses around the world, not heavily focused in the United States right now. That would make sense because around the world, their currency is devaluing against us. So we should be in a decently strong position, even though we are in a recession. We're in a decent position against other countries in the world and their economies. They all have to own US dollar. So when our dollar's going up dramatically, that's hurting their trades for their own currency. And a lot of countries are starting to feel the pinch. Watch Germany. Watch Germany. We know what's going on with Deutsche Bank is not as bad as the Credit Suisse situation, or as dire. Still not good. But the issue here is, look at the heating costs in Germany. They're not going to be able to, people can't heat their houses at night. It gets cold there, I'm pretty sure I've seen snow in Germany on a movie or something. But how much pressure will the governments feel from the citizens when the pinch really starts getting felt? This is causing them to push hard against the United States. Jerome Powell right now is the most powerful person in the entire world economy. His ability to affect other economies and ours as well by changing a number up or down, it is massive. And so if he starts feeling that pressure in these other countries and he caves into it, we stop the quantitative tightening. We stop the rate hikes. And that would be a surprise, because if you would have talked to people last month, they would have said, or right after the last Fed meeting, no one thought that it's over completely, that we're not going to get more rate hikes. That's what they're discussing, I'm pretty sure, in this emergency Fed meeting today. What is smart for us to do? Inflation is going down somewhat, but other countries around the world are hurting because of our decisions, do we want to just crush them, which then may be a possibility, and raise rates super high to help our economy out over the long term? Or do we want to stop raising rates, let our stock market start to go back up? He's not thinking about Bitcoin, of course. Let our markets go back up. People will start making money again and investing, and maybe we see the bear market and the stock market end, and maybe from there, he still gets to look like the hero, though. Either way, Jerome Powell always looks like the hero here. For the good of humanity, he is going to decide we're going to stop raising the rates. People here are going to like that. Around the world, it will be a reverberating effect that will take a long time to fully reverse those inflation, and get those other currencies strong. But man, people who said the dollar was dead, and I hate that narrative. I hate the narrative that the dollar is dead. It's not dead yet. The United States and the way we manipulate the value of our currency is unparalleled. It's very strong. They've been doing it for a long, long time. And everybody always says the Ponzi's going to run out, the bubble's going to pop. But the United States keeps coming up with different ways to do it.
Yeah, they figure out a new way to kick the can down the road every single time. And maybe not as far, maybe the bubble gets bigger, but so far they keep kicking that can. So we got to think they're going to keep kicking it.
I wonder when we will see information from it. Will we know what is said in this meeting, or it's got to be leaked?
No, I have no idea. Like, I imagine all of them should have minutes. I don't know when they're supposed to come out. Usually they come out late the night of or the next morning.
No, it's like a week or two later.
A week?
Yeah, when the Fed minutes come out. Yeah. It's definitely not the same week. So, because it's kind of like the meeting comes out and the announcement, and then you wait a while for the shoe to drop from the minutes if it's got anything dramatically different in it.
Wow.
Sometimes you can tell their tone better in the minutes than when you're actually, watching the announcements. Both Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank are close to collapsing, have $2.7 trillion in assets under management. Credit Suisse stocks down 10% today. 10%.
Yeah. Well,
where were they for my 99% Luna drop?
The big difference there is 2.7 trillion compared to Lehman's 600 billion. So it's way more assets we're talking about than when Lehman went under.
Yeah. All right. Next, Credit Suisse shares tanked 10% on restructuring capital returns. I talked about this a good bit yesterday on a video. So we're going to move on here to the next statement by the bully himself. That's what they called him when he worked at Facebook. Chamath Palihapitiya. I think I added an extra put in there. Palihapitiya forecasts major market shift after correctly calling 2022 market. Now, isn't he the main one that predicted a melt up? Isn't he the actual one who started that idea for crypto this year?
I don't know if he started, but he's definitely one of the first loud proponents of it.
Let's see when he did that. Chamath. Now, what a melt up is, it's a new term, by the way, to Investopedia. I love how people just say it like everybody knows what it means. It's kind of just been recently made up. It's when there's going to be a gigantic market crash. And so because of that, everything's going to pump up real big right before and they pull the liquidity or something. I don't know when we've ever seen that. I certainly don't think we've seen that in Bitcoin, a melt up. Usually the market falls when it's time. You don't get you get the top. You get the top and then it starts to bottom. It's a long process though. This melt up idea I thought was like really stupid from the very beginning. I never said I agreed with it. We talked about it one time as an idea, but melt up. See when he said this. He said it October 29th. Looked like maybe he said something about it. March. Crypto's having a melt up in March. Did not reach, very high. It did go up in March some, but people were not thinking it was going to end as quickly as it did. But anyways, I like Chamath generally. He's got some interesting takes on some things. He's got a lot of good experience. I think you can definitely get a lot out of watching him or listening to him on interviews. But I just got to say this melt up. You're still hearing people say it. We're going to get a melt up. No, we might get a bull trap at some point, but that's going to be about it. U.S. Senator introduces bill to protect crypto exchanges from SEC overreach. According to a recent press release, Bill Hagerty of Tennessee is pitching the Digital Clarity Act of 2022 as a means of shielding crypto exchanges from SEC overreach. Now, I've told you guys this before. The politicians of the United States have turned on the SEC. They have turned on Gary Gensler. More evidence of this. We've got this guy from Tennessee wanting a Digital Clarity Act. Why? Is it because he wants clarity? Maybe. I don't know the guy from Adam. He lives right north of me, I guess. But they want to shield from SEC overreach. And what's really interesting here is, we've talked before about a potential digital advisory that would be kind of like the SEC or the CFTC, but for digital assets. Now, if that got taken away from the SEC, I mean, it's the Securities and Exchange Commission. Exchanges could still potentially fall underneath, which creates a lot of overlap and a lot of problems when you're really looking at regulation. Now, they're even trying to take exchanges away from the SEC, crypto exchanges. So you are consistently seeing messages, and it's bipartisan, by the way. Bipartisan, this, I don't know if this is a Republican or a Democrat, but bipartisan. They want to take the power away from Gary Gensler because he's consistently, regulating by enforcement, overreaching. He's corrupt. He's making the SEC look terrible, making itself look bad as well. Even though, I mean, if you've seen the guy, he already doesn't need any help looking bad. The current lack of regulatory clarity for digital assets presents entrepreneurs and businesses with a choice: navigate significant regulatory ambiguity in the U.S. or move overseas to markets with clear digital asset regulations. We'll see an exodus of like the federal bit license that Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is pushing. If that happens, you'll see a ton of companies leave America. We don't want that. Why would we want companies leaving the United States? And as you guys probably know, like a lot of stuff from the United States gets outsourced to other countries because they have very cheap labor. So you saw all these, companies turning from American companies for support to foreign companies for support. But we saw through the pandemic is that got disrupted a little bit. And, there's a bigger push to keep stuff here in the United States. And this could be something that could do that. If you stifle innovation, they will leave. That's what happened in the early 2000s or late 90s when that really became a big thing, outsourcing to foreign companies because labor is cheap. I mean, people have always done it, but all of a sudden, almost every major company you're calling to get customer support, and it's not someone who, lives by you. They're somewhere else, and that's obvious. So I think this is very interesting that we've seen a reversal in this. Not 100%, of course. Small reversal, but with crypto exchanges, we don't want to see them leave. We want them to stay in America. Of course, I mean, FTX can, fall off the ocean for all I care. But for the most part, we want a strong crypto-centric industry in the United States, especially in a world where our dollar is king. The bill would mandate stablecoins backed by U.S. dollars. I don't mind that. Okay. All right. Next, we have Citi says decentralized crypto exchanges are winning market share from centralized peers. This is interesting because Citi, obviously, one of the biggest companies, institutions out there is where I'm looking for, biggest institutions. Now they're telling you like, hey, go check out decentralized exchanges. Meanwhile, you got these guys trying to push this bit license for the United States to pretty much wipe off DeFi exchanges or DEXs because it would make the purchase or the transactions illegal. You could still do them, but if you were caught, it would be illegal and punishable if what Sam Bankman-Fried is trying to do actually happens. So I don't know. Is this a little bit of a rug pull? They're saying, go check out the decentralized exchanges. Well, I'll tell you what. I tell you one thing. This is probably, you can probably find something to back the statistic up, okay? But think about, when we talk about what Sam Bankman-Fried is doing, the centralized exchanges right now are losing volume and business to the decentralized exchanges. So you, as a centralized exchange founder, how can you fix that? Well, let's use all my money to make those things illegal. So we can go back to making all the money ourselves, and we can't share it in a peer-to-peer way. So there's just a lot of stuff lining up with that stuff we've been talking about lately, and I definitely think this is one of them.
Real quick breaking from the Wall Street Journal and according to some other tweets and stuff, unconfirmed, but coming in right now, apparently the UN is calling for the Fed and other central banks to halt interest rate hikes, completely stop it. The United Nations is requesting. So we'll see if that happens, but that could change the markets very quickly.
Yeah, that's the point I made yesterday. And it's funny that this seems like it could be happening. What is Jerome Powell going to do? Is he going to lay down the throttle harder, or is he going to revert? Now, this would be really interesting for Jerome Powell, because have we ever heard him like say something and then do or say the opposite down the road?
I have no idea. I haven't been paying attention. I haven't been following the Fed this
Literally
closely.
every time, literally. Guys, what we want to do here is we don't need to worry about inflation because it's transitory.
Yeah, right.
Inflation is out of control and it's a big problem. Like Jerome Powell, he's always reversing what he says. And so, we're not going to print any more money. They print a lot more money. You look at this situation, be interesting to see if he's going to stick with what he said and help out our long-term problem, our long-tail problem of inflation, or is he going to say, screw it, I'll just go with what the world wants. And, now we've solved all of our problems for about the next 2 to 4 years, probably. And wouldn't that be amazing? The month before the midterm elections? Super chat up there. What was that? What happened with your dogs, man? I was sweating that game. I guess Missouri should be the #1 team. We got lucky, I guess. Ben, for the next portfolio video, can we get your price predictions for every project in the portfolios for the next bull run? Opposite to what people think, we don't just randomly throw out numbers. When we talk about, we didn't in the last bull market. We actually had reasons for the numbers that we gave. And they may be wrong. It may not turn out to be true. But I would have to really think a lot more about that. That's probably a 4 to 6 week process to really come up with price targets dependent upon the bottom. I've got to know where we bottom, in my opinion, to start telling you where I think things are going to go. So,
well, how about this is a little bit more of a generic one. Do you think some of the top coins, for example, ADA, Solana, Matic, etc., could at least 4 to 5x previous all-time highs? I don't know about that. Definitely they'll 4 to 5x from where they're at now by 2025.
oh, yeah,
I would say.
But previous all-time highs, it's questionable. Bitcoin did barely over 3, 3.5.
Well, and some of and we've also seen certain coins like that on their first run tend to do their very best. Like something like Solana. I don't think it'd be very bold for it to 5x a $250 price or wherever it got to.
It can't repeat its performance. I say it, but Sam Bankman-Fried, the white knight of crypto, he's got a lot of tools at his disposal. And think about this: if they're able to push that legislation through, which, by the way, I do not think will happen. I do think it will be stopped. We have a better alternative. But if he does that, then he controls the narrative compared to a lot of other crypto exchanges that have to basically not have American people using them anymore. So, the rich could get richer, as they always do there. UK Chancellor, thank you, Fuzzy Crypto, just admitted they were wrong and reversed the high pay tax cuts. Maybe US will do something similar. Surprised me to see them admit they were wrong. Well, let me tell you something, my friend, Mr. Fuzzy. When the government's coming out and saying that they did something wrong, there's something else going on. They don't ever take blame or responsibility. That was either the plan the whole time, or either things have gotten out of control for them and they have no other choice. You're not going to see them come out and take responsibility, I think, unless there's a bigger plan at play. Something to think about. We've been talking a lot about this federal bit license that's potential. Mt. Gox, before the original bit license, gigantic hack, big event. 90% of crypto transactions on that one site, gone overnight. Could we see something similar? You saw what happened with the pandemic. You had, of course, the what was that called before? The event 2009, or people remember what it was. Bill Gates was there. They were simulating pandemics.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of simulation before these big events happen. And not trying to get too conspiratorial, but if you were a person wanting to push a bill that was aimed at making people safer, by your opinion, in crypto, then, man, sure would be crazy to have a gigantic security event right before that happens. So definitely something to watch. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, of course. I'm just saying I'm watching to see, if we see some kind of massive event, like I don't think it's necessarily got to be a black swan, but it could be something that people aren't expecting, and that could push, just like with Luna in the stable coins. You saw what happened there. Okay, all right. I feel like the talk of cracking down on politicians' trading practices will be just that talk. I've been told from some politicians that after Nancy Pelosi leaves, there will be stock insider trading rules installed, but she won't allow it. So, crypto exchanges volume grew 16% in September after a 3-month lull. Cosmos to roll out native USDC through Interchain. You guys know we like Cosmos. We talk a lot of friendly stuff about Cosmos. I think it's good tech, good project, good people behind it. Price hasn't popped. It did pop pretty good in the bull run, but it hasn't popped like a lot of people thought that it would if you compare its tech to some of these other layer ones like Solana. Let's see. Yeah, we should do a video on Cosmos soon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite. It's and I'm hesitant to say this because it did underperform in the last bull market, and it, like you said, it performed well. It's hard to say underperformed. Did very well, several X on it. I know I got in pretty cheap, but still did well. I could see this one having a stronger cycle next time than the last, than it did in this last bull run. One of the ones that performs much stronger in 24, 25 than it did in 20 and 21.
Yeah, exactly. I think we could see that, or it might become a serial underperformer.
Yeah,
forever,
which is always the fear. Yeah.
If it doesn't rise near the top of the layer ones during this next cycle, I'm sure they'll keep it going.
Yeah.
But it's never probably going to get on the top tier. So, in my opinion, Ethereum is the only top tier right now. It's Ethereum and everything else. I put Cardano right under that. Polkadot, Solana, Cosmos, they all kind of fight back and forth. Now, Ethereum's been around. It's been around much longer than Cardano. It just got bigger, developer pool right now. Cardano wants to change that. It can easily, look, I generally use ETH and Cardano in the same sense, at the same level, because they're two of my, top coins. But Ethereum right now is definitely ahead. We'll see what happens. Cardano can definitely catch it, but
and then speaking about Cosmos, another thing I like about it, if you're looking at the chart, that's another one you can make a pretty strong case that it actually already has bottomed, because it's been trending, just climbing up slowly the last couple months while everything else has been flat, sideways, or down. And a lot of times things moving a little different to the market in these in these bear markets tend to set up well in the next bull run. So that's what's got my attention.
Yeah. Rocky Bobby says ADA is nowhere close to ETH. This is what I'll tell you. If you mapped it out on a chart, you're right. It's probably pretty far away, but it's closer than everything else. So, I do think the potential is there, but it's got to realize that potential. And we're not in a place yet where we can make that judgment call. So to say Ethereum will always be the number one platform, you're ignoring the fact that they have 5 more roadmap steps that are gigantic and take years. So Coinbase says funds are safe after 6-year bank outage, or 6-hour bank outage. That's cool. Isn't that like just at night? Like they close every night?
Yeah, don't they do that all the time?
Yeah. Cardano founder takes a jab at Solana. His network experiences new outage. By the way, I've not heard from Charles, but I did hear from his PR person today, or I guess that's her title. Yeah, I think we're going to get to do an interview for the channel while we're at Rare Bloom with him too, which would be really cool. So look, Charles looks so groomed here.
Yeah.
And maybe is that photoshopped? Is that photoshopped? It definitely is a poor quality. Makes his goatee look blurry there.
Yeah.
But he actually looks closer to his age right there than I've ever seen him. Founder of Cardano IOG and co-founder of Ethereum, Charles Hoskinson, could not help taking a jab at a Cardano competitor whose founders previously poured criticism on Cardano chain. The Solana network is experiencing an outage. It was out for the 8th time this year. I said, when is Sam Bankman-Fried going to let Rick Astley out of the basement and just go ahead and just say this thing's a Rickroll? Like, it's a giant Rickroll. We're waiting for it. Great song. Love that song. Love Rick Astley. Thoughts on Gala and next bull run? And we'll see. If it stays near the top of the blockchain games, it'll do well. A lot of people know. Look, I don't hate Gala. People think I hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't have really strong feelings.
Yeah. There's a lot still undetermined in that gaming space, and they've got a lot of irons in the fire. I definitely think they've got a good team going after it, but that's going to be a tough space to fight for when you're talking about game development. It's not easy to make games. It's definitely not easy to make blockchain games and make them fun and playable. Now, I will say they've got a lot in there, but they've got a lot of their tokenomics the games don't necessarily push the Gala token. So that's part of that rub, and they're still trying to figure that out.
Well, to me, when gaming officially goes blockchain will be when the quality of the games is as high as the quality of PS5 or Xbox.
Right. And I actually do
360?
think
No.
Gala
I don't know what
right
Xbox
now, yeah, PS5 or
What's the new Xbox or the?
I
current?
can never remember what it's called, the latest Xbox
I don't know.
that just came out.
I don't like Xbox. I'm a PS5 controller guy.
But I will say Gala they have partnered with a lot of big game developers, and they are some of the most fun crypto games I've ever played. And they do feel like you can play them and not know they're crypto and enjoy them, especially the Walking Dead one. They've got a shooter game. So they've got definitely some strong games. But again, figuring out the right way to tie those games to the tokenomics of the Gala token, that's a totally different discussion. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to dissect when you're talking gaming tokens, governance, blockchain, nodes.
XS
It's a lot.
is the Xbox XS.
XS.
I will tell you, the idea that the best game out of a type of game will ultimately win, I think is true. If you look back at the Mario Brothers watch from kindergarten, you guys are my age, you remember it had one button. You just jumped and the screen moved. And it was basically you going back and forth on about a 20-foot space for a long time. I mean, obviously those Mario Brothers watches are crushing it today. So do you even know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
There is such a weird gap between our ages. How old are you?
33.
I'm 39.
Yeah.
It was about 6.5 years, I guess. Things that are like culture for my specific age group, for yours, you don't even know what I'm talking
No,
about.
I just barely missed it. Yeah, they
Barely
came
missed
and
it.
went real quick.
Y'all know about the Nintendo watches. Y'all know that for sure. I almost went with they had those little handheld games that it was just like, it looked kind of like a very primitive screen of a Game Boy.
Mhm.
And you would basically your character would only move 2 places back and forth the whole time. So I had that watch. Brilliant, Sheldon Hughes. Man, I tell you what, absolutely. The watch was great. Cardano reaches new scaling milestone. The mail-out nodes to sync faster. Cardano is about getting a milestone in scaling solution Mithril. Interesting. Let's see. Romain Perlin tweeted about bootstrapping a Cardano node through a Mithril snapshot. I did a review on Mithril in 2018.
I remember that.
Yeah. Mithril was listed as one of the ways Cardano intended to scale at the start of the year. Cardano builder IOG introduced Mithril during the 2021 Cardano Summit. Since then, the team has made steady progress. So here's how far Mithril has gone. It's stated in a recent blog post. It's got to be the same Mithril, right?
I'm thinking it doesn't sound the same.
It doesn't.
The one
but
you did
the
was like a
spelling.
social media kind of thing, or no? Like where it earned on posts and
Yep.
Because I was playing, and it used to be called something else before it was called Mithril. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember playing with that app.
Man, those were the days, man. Those were the days.
That's when we thought, that's when I thought for sure getting, like engagement-based, attention-based posts and getting a currency for it was like right around the corner, and that it was going to revolutionize social media by 2019, 2020, and here we are.
The longer you're in this,
Yeah.
the further away you start to see the feature, the adoption is being.
Yeah.
So, like, I had a tweet yesterday where I tweeted about Bitcoin. I like to tweet about Bitcoin because, I just think for some reason people think I hate Bitcoin because I don't like Bitcoin maxis, but I love Bitcoin. And this was the tweet. Oh, there's me and my kid and his friends and my friend Brian. We got to go on the field last night. Bitcoin is the greatest asset in human history. It was programmed to be superior. I actually do believe it will become the world reserve currency. It's simple technological and financial evolution. Bitcoin maxis get mad at that the change isn't instant. It will take 25 to 50 more years, in my opinion. That they want it today, want the dollar to collapse tomorrow. That's not realistic. That's not what we're going to see. You see the dollar strengthening. That weakens their argument in the short term. It's going to take a long time before people really realize around the world and are comfortable with Bitcoin actually being more trustworthy, more reliable than physical gold. Now, of course, physical gold you can hold. You can hold a wallet. You can't hold a Bitcoin itself. But I believe that's going to happen for sure. It's just a matter of time, much further out than people want to give it credit for. This also doesn't mean that I think Bitcoin is better than XRP. Why? Because they're two different things with different purposes. They do share, by the way, though. They are both a network of value as opposed to a network of information. But XRP is not trying to be Bitcoin. That's what people were saying, like, oh, I thought you loved XRP. Love Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum's a smart contract platform. It's also not trying to be digital gold. So you really got to look at all that for, and be able to not be so small-minded and understand that you might read something that seems counter to what a message someone says, but actually, if you break it down, you look at it, a lot of times, these ideas are closer than people think they are. So, all right, let's move on here. Let's just go to Cardano or the XRP case. Throw the X up if you are in the chat. You guys know we love XRP, the XRP army. Let's see, currently 1,113 projects building on Cardano. There you go. Polkadot, XRP, and Cardano among the top 10 crypto assets chosen by banks. What does that mean? Confidence in these coins. Polkadot, very interesting that it's on there because it hasn't really, it launched with a bang. We haven't really seen it realize its potential yet, and it lagged behind in the last bull market. It really needed one more big pump to really get to crazy prices, and it just didn't get there. It stalled out. Every time Polkadot would start to run, it seemed like Bitcoin would dump. So two firms seek to weigh in on XRP lawsuit between SEC and Ripple. TapJets, which is basically like Airbnb for a private jet, something like that, and iRemit Inc., a global payment remittance company, are both joining in and making statements about what they think about the SEC lawsuit. It's interesting. I never knew that people could partake in these kinds of things, like come alongside an SEC lawsuit. Very interesting. 1 billion XRP did not leave escrow this time. Is Ripple done with regular withdrawals? Now, this is interesting here. Today is October 3rd, and on Saturday, the first day of the month, when over the past few years, it has been traditional for Ripple to unleash a whopping billion XRP, the withdrawal did not take place. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, a lot of that was them just moving that billion around, not necessarily selling it. These withdrawals were made from 55 escrows set up by Ripple, which held 1 billion tokens each, started in 2018, and were meant to finish at some point this year. When they only started, the XRP community became afraid these releases would keep the price down, and even started a petition to stop further withdrawals of XRP. Now, let's go back to 2019 very quickly. 2019, Brad Garlinghouse says, I believe it was on a CNN interview or something, that the company, Ripple, had to sell massive amounts of XRP in the bear market to remain profitable. And that pissed a lot of people off. Why? Because that affects the value of your bags if you hold them, if they dump a bunch of it, even if it's for them to run for their business. But the interesting thing is that in a bear market, if you're holding all through it, does it really matter that much? Is it actually more valuable for Ripple to have done that and to stay profitable? The short-term loss from the last bear market that you had, was that as bad as what would happen if Ripple became unprofitable and had to start laying people off and cutting people and all that stuff? Well, I mean, not, with a knife, but very interesting to think about. I don't think necessarily we're going to see, after the XRP Ripple case is done or SEC case is done, I don't know we're going to have to see them continue to selling off even in a bear market. So I think it's going to go to a really good place. All right. Q&A. DJ Mitchell, define taking crypto off of exchanges, please. Yeah, very easy. All you do is you withdraw your crypto to another address. You do that to cold storage, do it to a hot wallet. You can do it as a transaction. You send it to another exchange. But that is what that is. Very quickly, before we do more Q&A, the one thing I did want to talk about in quick hits, Kim Kardashian paid over $1 million to settle the SEC charges linked to a crypto promo, Ethereum Max. We told you to stay away from it, on her Instagram. And the important thing here is not Kim Kardashian. The important thing is Gary Gensler, right after this case, put out a video.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, explaining He is so stupid. Like, I just don't know how to wrap up into words what Gary Gensler is. He comes out, he makes this video. He says, wow, Kim Kardashian, she just got in trouble. Now, here's the reason. She was promoting a coin. Now, she didn't disclose it. So I always believe if you don't disclose, you are putting yourself at jeopardy and you deserve to be punished so you don't do that again. I think that's a bad thing. We've never done that on this channel. The fact is, people that do that doesn't mean that they're, going to hell, that they're the worst human ever. Maybe they made a mistake. But, if you're going to purposely promote something and not disclose, I think to keep the market in balance, we need that. We need people to be punished for that. Punish is maybe a, really negative, strong word, but that's what it is. So what we're seeing here is that Gary Gensler says, well, you see these celebrities, these influencers, and what they're doing is they're promoting all kinds of things, including crypto. The thing that makes crypto different is it's a financial, it's a financial asset, which means people have to invest in it. And this is what he said. And it makes my skin crawl, like my blood boil, to think about Gary Gensler literally acting like a white knight for telling people exactly what we tell them every single day and almost every single crypto YouTube channel does. He said, well, what you have to understand is every investment is not for you. So if someone promotes something, you may actually need to do some research before you invest. Every crypto YouTuber, DYOR, DYOR, DYOR. This is our opinion on this. DYOR. No one is forcing you to make financial decisions. Kim Kardashian did not force anybody, even though she didn't disclose it, to buy things. And it's just so crazy that Gary Gensler wants to act like a white knight for saying, that's the message we've all been giving you. Develop your own plan. Do your own research. No one says, don't research. Just go buy this right now. You're a billionaire tomorrow. But that's the portrayal that the SEC wants of us, of people that talk about crypto. He wants us portrayed as everything we talk about, we're telling you is the greatest. How many coins have we said on the show today? 20?
Yeah,
30?
Yeah.
How many of them have we told you, this is the one, you definitely must go buy this, and there's no flaws in it? Nobody says that. This is the way that slime balls like Gary Gensler try to make us look like the bad guys, to make us look like we're just out here, we're taking money, we're telling you to buy this, and, we don't care. And that's not reality. Look at everything that we say on crypto YouTube. It's always do your own research. He doesn't get to come out and say that. It's so stupid to me that this is a guy who's in charge. He's just vindictive. That's all it boils down to. So that is the one thing I did want to say. It sounds like to me, though, Gary hasn't done his own research, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a couple more questions.
Yeah, a couple more questions. BitBoy, thoughts on BNB? It's been one of the best performing crypto of the last bull run and bear market. Outperformed BTC and Ethereum, both to the upside and downside, only down 56% right now from all-time high.
Look, BNB has held very well throughout both bear markets.
Yeah.
Actually hit a new all-time high in the bear market last time. So I think it's a good play. We love Binance. Haven't had problems with them. You guys can check out. We have a link if you guys want to go sign up for Binance, by the way. Not financial advice. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's your opinion. You can do it. Thank you, Gary, for that advice. So I had said that. But for me personally, when it comes to BNB, it's another one that you say, how much can it outperform its last performance in the last bull market? Bear market seeming to hold up very, very good. But you look at the rise of some of these other coins that we're going to see, the FTT and, I can't think of any of the other ones right now, but that fit in that niche. It's unlikely that the top performer will outperform again. So for me personally, when I'm looking at the next bull run, I don't know if I'm really, even if I end up being wrong, I don't think we're going to heavily focus on BNB. I just have other coins that I really want to develop a strategy behind as our bull market coins. And we've talked about a lot of them. I don't know any that we necessarily need to add at this point, but that is something I'm really looking at. And once we really get that pool of coins that we think they're not going to be numbered 942, they're going to be major coins, then we're going to go hard on the content around those so people have the education, and we're going to put the feather in our hat when we win on that. So All right, next one.
DJ Mitchell, do you think 2023 will be up or sideways?
Sideways, whole year basically. I think the whole year will be sideways. Some fireworks here and there. It won't be completely boring at all times, but when you see the price go up, you're actually going to be shocked and you're not going to believe it, and everybody will sell for profits. So there are scenarios exist out there where we're wrong about that, and it does go to all-time highs or even lower. Crypto Savvy thinks it's hitting the bottom late in 2023 or early 2024. I think it's hitting new all-time highs at the end of 2024. So we got a long time to accumulate, for sure. All right.
Thoughts on Aave for the next bull run?
Well, we just covered that as one of our top 5 low supply coins. A video in which I gave you 5 coins, and I explained to you why low supply doesn't actually matter that much in determining your investment decisions, your own decisions. I can't tell you to do it. Whoa, fell over. What? Oh, the picture went sideways in here. At the end of the show,
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay. Point is, we like Aave. It's one of our top 5. I like Aave better than Compound. And I like it better than Maker. And those are the big 3 kind of DeFi, plays in the world of Ethereum. So Aave's got a stable coin. I don't know if it's out yet. I think it might be out, but it's supposed to do a lot of stuff to help with their process of flash loans and everything. So, all right. What do you think about eGold? eGold was another one of those, I think, that was in that video. So, all right, guys, that's all we got for today. I got a couple things I got to go do. And it's time to end the show. So I bid you adieu. And tomorrow, I promise, I'm going to be louder than ever. I don't know why. Send me something to get me excited. Send me some rants y'all want me to go on. I know I was really lacking that rant energy today. All right, guys, but that's all I got. I love you guys regardless. We're going to be here every day, no matter what the market is doing. Be blessed. Good boy out.